back, baby.
We're back, baby. Alright, this week we're trying to something a little bit different. We're just gonna no notes, just more of like a off the sort.
Just a conversation with me and you and I.
Me and my mate. Yeah. Me and my good mate Isaac.
Just having a little chat.
Welcome back to the Open Minded podcast.
Welcome back. Is this episode 6 now?
6, I think, yeah. Is it? Yeah.
Episode 6.
5.
Yeah. So episode 6. We didn't post for a couple of weeks. We've been still just having problems with the technical aspect. It's just coming to grips with how to get our setup working for what we're doing and the format that we're working with. I think for now we're just kind of not going to try and do video until we've got that 100% nailed down. I feel like there's no point doing that shit half-hearted.
Yeah, you need like the proper camera, the whole setup, the whole shebang.
I mean, this camera's...
The camera's
it works,
fine.
But it doesn't work for this.
Yeah, it doesn't record for longer than 30 minutes.
It doesn't record for longer than 30 minutes because there's a different tax rate because it's classed as a video camera in Europe. And you know, that would make it more expensive, so they didn't bother. So we tried something else, and then it made the quality bad. So there's a different camera that we need. You know, these things you just run into, it just happens, and it's like, cool.
Fuck it.
We're going to sell that one and then just buy the other one.
And then we can have some YouTube videos for you guys.
And then we'll have videos, yeah. Oh, let me put this. So yeah, I think the format we're going to try and do is just by having more relaxed conversations so it doesn't feel like a chore. And it needs to be something that we want to do. Like, I do want to do it, but it's been a chore because of the technical setup to it.
I don't find the writing up hard at all. And like sort of planning, I think the planning's fine.
It's good.
Writing down notes, it's just, let's try something new, innit? Well, this is what we used to do before, but we're kind of in a different position now because we're a bit more clued up on what we're doing.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, but I think it helps in a number of ways to make it more relaxed. I feel way more relaxed now than me trying to... If I had notes in front of me, I'd feel like I have to present them. And then you go into this, you know, your phone voice.
Yeah.
Whereas this...
A bit more...
It's a lot more relaxed.
Yeah.
You know, I'm reclined in my chair, chilling, got coffee. I'm just chatting to you. Like...
Normal. Like we would... like, we have these conversations anyway.
We sit here and we have these conversations, so... The thing with everything, and I think we're going to come back to this a few times in this conversation, is just doing what works for you. Trial and error. Find what works for you. What we've been doing has worked, but we haven't been doing it enough. Something's been stopping us. And I personally think it's just the cameras disheartened me. When I'm, you know, I spent 2 hours the other day just trying to get the cameras to set up, like just to record a video.
You get bad brain blocks.
Yeah.
As soon as something's not like...
As soon as something's not working or something, like that has
to... the whole thing off!
Well, I have to sort it out before I can even think straight about other things. It's like when I lose shit, like until I find that, nothing's getting done. Because like it has to be found.
Yeah.
So it's like the other day when the cameras wouldn't record because I had problems with the SD cards and whatever. I had to record that video before anything else could be done. And I just got to a point of feeling frustrated with it. So the video that I actually recorded was me talking about how I'm going to do this more regularly on a more relaxed basis, where I might just write 3 or 4 bullet points and then talk about them. And yeah, you might go off on a tangent, a little bit of a rant here and there. But I think it's much better than me and you saying, instead of me and you sitting here and saying, these are the 10 points we're going to talk about. And then we've already basically had the conversation before we hit record.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then that's why whenever we record something and it fails, I can't have that conversation again immediately because it's like, I'm basically just reading a script at this point. And that's shit. That's boring. you don't get any of the flavor or the background or the emotional side to it.
The
It's
fuck
just me
ups.
reading,
Yeah.
and I don't like that.
Mm.
It did help it flow better, but I feel like you and I can both communicate better than we could when we started this.
Yeah.
So we probably don't need to rely on it as much.
Mm.
Mm.
Yeah. Should we? I've forgotten what we're fucking talking about anyway.
So we're going to talk a bit about the influences that people have in their life and how people might idolize certain things, such as, you know, a pretty girl on Instagram or pretty guy, whatever it is, the someone else's car or their house, or this person's on holiday and like idolizing it, and how that's a bit dangerous to fall into if you start idolizing really anything, but how it's so in front of us. You know, last time we had this conversation and it failed, we said to look at our explore pages because your Instagram is kind of showing you the things you normally interact with.
Yeah.
So it's quite a good way of seeing the type of things that you're maybe interested in. Like my one was like cars and computers, and your one is just girls.
Just birds. That's a sticky one at the moment. That's just the only thing. Well, yeah, birds and BMX.
Mine's like
and any
NFTs,
sort of
computers, and cars.
And also, like listening to yourself, listening
Yeah.
to what it is that you want. Not you need to take that, look at it from a third person perspective of, is this what I really want?
Yeah, take a look at yourself. Like, don't just do something because someone's
like, and we're
urging you to do.
We're talking about family members, close people who, because a lot of the time with like parents and things, they're trying to live their life through you. Like that's something that you need to realize.
Do that, yeah.
You'd
be the first in our family to go to uni.
Yeah, but no, it's about the social sort of, oh yeah,
my son's a doctor.
My son's this.
Oh,
my
yeah.
daughter's done this. Yeah, what's your daughter doing? Oh, your daughter just works in fucking McDonald's. Yeah, have you heard about me? Yeah, like, do you know what I mean? That's all that
parents do.
Your parents. That's a lot of people. I was fucking lucky. My parents are they're just sick, and they're
encouraging for you.
They're just encouraging, and it's not you've got to go to university, or you've got to do this, you've got to do that. It's you can do whatever the fuck you want.
I think having that level of encouragement is so important, and the thing sometimes as well is it's lovely to have encouragement, and we've spoken a lot. I think we did share that conversation that we had about encouragement, that it can give people that little boost they need just to get them a bit of momentum, and then they can get the bigger goal done. Just if they were in a bit of a rut, having a bit of encouragement can give you enough momentum just to get over the finish line with things.
And I think there's kind of like a fine line between encouragement and pressure.
100%.
You've got to find that perfect.
But it's well, I think the difference comes down to what the person's intentions are. Because if you're doing your own thing, like say for example, you drive a lorry, yeah, and I say, oh, why don't you go for the bigger lorry? You get more money, right? And you pay for a course. I have like a genuine intention, because in my mind it's like that sounds like a path that you could take that sounds good for you. So that's encouraging, but you're not my son. You're not like someone that I want to be like, oh yeah, he done this, and like that I'm urging you to do something because it benefits me for whatever reason. You know, it's separate from me, so I can genuinely encourage you, because this is the thing. This is another thing about encouragement. Actually, this idea of me and you instead of me or you. You know, if you make more money, it doesn't take anything away from me. Like, why would I not encourage you to go out and do this and that? You know, some people get jealous of each other, and they try to downplay people's achievements, and they'd be like, oh yeah, but you know, it is what it is. Like it is whatever.
I think there's a weird thing in some people's brains that they think that if they pull other people back, that pushes them more in front.
It just doesn't.
If you this is what people need to get in their heads. There's enough fucking cake to go around.
100%.
Everyone can eat. And actually, you helping someone else only helps you in the long run.
Always.
Like
It always helps you.
If you put in a lot of time to help someone else and they make it big, and then they bring you with them. It's just you, and then you
It's
just
like the idea of like the all. I don't know if this is 100% related, but like, it's a bit of a different one. But there's this idea of how when the tide rises, all the boats rise.
Yeah.
There's not this thing of one of them does and one of them doesn't.
Yeah.
Like, they all rise. So when things are good, if you're encouraging people and everything's going on the up, everyone's winning.
I think KSI is quite a good example.
Right.
With the Sidemen. He's like a lot bigger than all of the rest of the Sidemen in it. They all know that, but he doesn't think of anyone else as being lower than him, or he obviously knows that he's a lot bigger than them, but he doesn't really give a fuck about that. But he's always bringing other people up, and there's he always like gives people people shout outs and the people who he likes and stuff. And I was listening to a podcast with him actually, and he was like, I think that's quite a big part of my success because I've always helped people on my come up to bring them through with me.
The thing is, right, everyone, I've got this thing stuck on my fridge. It's like a Jordan Peterson, I don't know if you've seen it. It's like 40 rules of life or something. And they're a bit random. But one of them says to listen to everybody as if they're going to say something that you need to learn or that you need to know. And it can come from anywhere. Someone could say something and you could hear it anywhere. It could be on a podcast, it could be a friend, it could be a person in the street. But like, listen, like, not as if that person's a nuisance and that like they're just talking rubbish or that you know more than them and you don't have to listen to them. Like, listen with an open ear and that you could learn something from what that person says. So that's a really good way of doing it, because you never know when you could be that person who's saying something to someone that they need to know, right? And I remember, I always think of this time of my mate, and he's like, we were like out on the session, and he's like brought me into the bathroom, and he's like, mate, he's like, I'm fucked, mate. And I was like, why? He's like, I've got no food in the cupboards. He started going on and on. I was like, wait, like, hang on. I was like, I'm going to go to the shop and get you shopping tomorrow. So, like, just forget that. Just forget that that's even one of your problems. That problem's solved. Tomorrow, I'm going to go to the shop. I'm going to get you a load of food, like shower gel, shampoo, whatever. Like, whatever you need. Like, don't worry. So, even though, like, I'm only, like, a little couple steps ahead of this guy and he's in a bit of a peak situation, like I'm able to help, so I will. It's my friend, and I know that it helps him. But then, as soon as that happened, like, he's like, "All right, cool. Like, I don't actually have any problems now." It's like, all right, so just crack on with what you need to do. Don't worry about that, and just let's get on with it. It doesn't take anything away from me. And now I've got a lovely mate who, whenever he comes to Southampton, like, he comes and helps me out. He'll do things with me. Like, he's always there if I need him. Not that I did that so that he'd be there, but, you know, I've got that person around me. He's a good guy. So it takes nothing away from you to help someone. And 9 times out of 10, helping someone could just be you listening to them.
There's a lot of times where I think, but there is like a weird line between how much time you should give to someone, because I always feel like I spend too much time. But sometimes people, you know, when you're just in passing or whatever, and someone's talking to you, and then they start going on, and I think I've always thought, like, just listen, see what they've, like, if there's any sort of, if they're going through something or whatever, and there's something that you can give to them that can help them, then that's worth them that 15, 20 minutes or whatever it is of your time. Some people just want to ramble on, but yeah, sometimes I think, oh fucking hell, I need to. When's a good time to go? How much time should I give to this person? But yeah, no, as long as you're, what's, yeah, I'm not really too sure.
The thing with the way that people talk, though, look, a very common way that people communicate is they ramble, and they're basically looking for outside affirmation. That's why they'll go into detail about their future plans, just to kind of get your nod. You know, if they're a bit uncertain about things and they don't really have like a self-affirmation, you know, they're not self-affirming, they look for outside affirmation. So the way that they'll communicate will be to seek that affirmation. And this actually ties into how people will do things that are kind of out of character to get affirmation from outside sources. People will change the way that they look in the way that they post, and they'll share content. You know, they share this curated lifestyle of them being unbelievably happy and doing the most amazing things in the most amazing places, partying, going in sick cars, going to hotels, traveling. Like, people generally
all on a credit
don't.
Card.
Yeah, fucking, not to mention the credit card. Yeah. But you know, if you don't have that self-affirmation, you look for it outside, and you do things that, you know, for example, like what you just said, you'll overextend yourself to get a nice car because you think that people are gonna give you some different level of respect, or you're gonna get a nicer girl by having a newer car or whatever.
I think, like, I'm pretty sure we speak for every man who's listening right now. Like, let's say 90%, we've all got that finance car or something, and it's just fucked us. Like, or
it fucks you.
Yeah,
it fucks you.
Like, it's good for like a month, and then you think, oh yeah, you fucking, you're driving around with your mates in the car and that, showing all your new car and that, and then the first bill comes out, and you're like, I've got to pay this for 5 years. Fuck's sake.
People overextend themselves.
Yeah.
They do things that they think they should, and they don't really think about the consequences, or they don't consider it to be, you know, a reason why they probably shouldn't do it. Yeah. I think, you know, I don't know where I heard this from, but there's this thing where men will say that they're heavier than they actually are. They'll say that they can lift heavier than they actually are. They'll say that they've got more money than they actually have. And they'll go on as if they're more clever than they actually are. There was a few differences in what women will say that they're way less than they actually are. They'll say that their figure is smaller than it actually is, and things like that.
Did you know that men also talk with a deeper voice around other men, and they...
Okay.
Yo, what are you telling me?
Yo. Yeah, and they also answer the phone in a deeper voice when it's a woman as well. Yo, babes. You good, yeah?
It's supposed to show but there's actually a thing where people think that if a man's got a deeper voice, then he's more whatever,
more masculine and dominant.
Yeah, or
these things, more
likely to be able to look after whatever. I can't remember what it was, but there's something in it why men do that. But when you're around a woman, you soften your voice.
Okay. Yo, babes. Let me loosen you up a bit, babe.
Oh no, my mum's cringing right now. Yeah. That the whole thing of like, that is something that I think just a lot of people go through, of buying certain shit to...
Bruv, people go to places just to get a photo for Instagram.
Oh, that's a mazza.
Like, they genuinely do that. There's like parks with certain trees, or there's like Gunwharf, or there's Oxford Street in London. People go to certain places to take pictures.
Girls literally go on a night out for the excuse to buy the clothes, get glammed up, and take the picture for Instagram, and then they go out afterwards. But the going out afterwards not the big thing. It's the fucking taking the
Going
photo.
to Harbour on Sixth and taking a picture in that
Yeah.
bathroom. It's fucked.
Mm.
You know, there are these locations where people do that stuff. But this is the thing. All of that's fine. It's all fine. There's nothing wrong with it. You know, I mean, there is a big problem with it, but it's more in the way that people perceive it and the way that people will go out of their way to make people perceive them differently. You know, there's this example of you can buy $5 coffee, like you can buy expensive coffee in Starbucks, and you can do that, but don't complain when you've got no money. You know, if you can afford it and you can do it, then cool. But don't do shit and then complain about it. Like, don't go get a car out on finance and then complain that it's too expensive. You done that. You should have thought about this. You shouldn't have made an impulse purchase because, oh shit, man's just got the new 4 Series, yeah? Like, all right, cool. When you start seeing them payments coming out, if you can't afford it, mate, you're not going to feel good.
Like, and there's also another thing of, like, I have a BMW, yeah? I can't afford a BMW. Like, don't get things that you can't afford.
How much interest do you pay on that?
Oh no, it's calm. Like, I can afford it now, yeah. But when I got it, I couldn't afford it. Like, say if something, you say you're paying all,
it was a bit of a shock
beyond that, beyond what, you think you can afford it. Oh yeah, I'll pay the X amount a month, and and I can afford that. No, but you don't take into account, what if something goes wrong? What if you need to fucking get some new tires? What if you need to do that? You can't afford it. You can afford, you only think about those monthly payments. You don't think about the things that can go wrong.
Yeah.
The
oil, the tires, the maintenance of it.
Yeah. Say if the fucking head gasket went tomorrow, could you afford that? No. All right, then you can't afford a BMW.
Well, I always look at things, unless you can buy it 3 times and have change, you can't afford it. Because of little things like that. It's just a little rule of thumb. Not to mention the fact that there's this girl, and we saw her the other day, and I saw her number plate, and I was like, I wonder if that's her. I'm not going to say it because it's like evident who it would be, but she actually came out and said about how she got her bum, boobs, and lips done all on finance, and then like she had to start living on credit cards and maxing out different credit cards because she'd completely overextended herself on all that work she'd had done. And then she's like, actually, I don't even like how I look, and I've got to pay shitloads for it, and it's like crippling me financially because like I can't afford to live. So it's just like, what the hell were you thinking? Like, did you not think about this? What, like, you know, you've done these things thinking that it would change your life or whatever you thought, and it didn't, and now you're upset about it. And it's like, come on, you've overextended yourself. And then the thing with monthly payments on a car, it's all well and good to be like, oh yeah, I've got this car and it's only 400 quid a month, or it's only this, it's only that. Your monthly income and your salary is like your biggest tool to build wealth. And all that does is the more of the people, most people have got this thing in their head where they're like, all right, cool, I make $2,000 a month and I've got like 1,600 quid coming out a month. So like, I'm good. It's like, bro, you're not good. Like, you need to be saving half your money if you want to actually build any wealth.
Do you know what really helped me? Because I didn't used to look at, until I started investing, I didn't look at these things as, I look
liabilities.
at everything. Yeah, liabilities, and I don't think I think of things as assets now. And it's like, if I spend X amount on this, like, how much is that going to make me in the future? Oh, it's going to fucking lose me that much. Or is, just say for instance, you want a coat. Does that coat fit its purpose? Do you like the coat, or don't overextend yourself on that coat?
The thing with everything you buy is there's an opportunity cost of what the money could have earned you. What could you have done with the money? If you'd spent, you know, it's it's actually, the way you see a lot of guys our age, they'll spend. Like, I know a guy. He every month he'll spend like £1,000 on like designer clothes. Not to mention the fact that he buys fake designer shit as well. But it's like you're not only overextending yourself on buying these clothes, you're spending like 75% of what you're earning a month. This is a guy who lives at home, lives with his mum, doesn't have much cost. But then you're also going out your way buying fake shit because you can't actually afford it, but you still want to look like you can. So it's like your whole thing's broken, bruv. If you actually don't have them costs, then you need to be saving that money up. And then when you've got money to invest, start doing that. And stop spending your money on things which are like non-tradable. Like you're buying things that you can't really get anything out of it.
Depreciating.
Like obviously you need clothes.
Yeah.
But you don't need to spend £1,000 a month on designer clothes.
I've always.
I mean, you can, but if you can't afford it, don't bother.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Unless I've got like 6 to 7 figures in the bank account, I'm not buying something like that's worth over £1,000. Like say for a coat or something. It's like.
Yeah, you need assets. You need to be using your money. You need to be using your income to generate wealth. And that is through purchasing assets which are generating income. And it's investing your money into things which are generating you income, minimizing what you're putting out on liabilities, and maximizing earnings, minimizing your outgoings. That's literally the whole game.
I think everyone's a bit too short-minded now. This is the problem. I think everyone just thinks, I need this now to look like this now. And they don't think, I can look like that in the future. If I just fucking work my ass off now. And you just put everything... Gary Vee always says, nobody wants to take 3 steps back to take the 10 steps forward. Bringing yourself back. If you're overextended... Like you've got a nice car, just get a little bit of a shittier car. You got
something which is just less to run.
Yeah, just less to run.
Why does it matter if you got a shit car?
But just think, I'm getting that because I'm going to be here
moving forward.
And
100%.
You just have to think of yourself in 10 years' time, 5 years' time.
I sold my car. Had a BMW, like 2.5 litre 5 Series, chilling, like fucking overtaking man, like 120 on the motorway. Now I don't have a car.
Yeah.
But it's like, all right, cool. I'm saving like 600 quid a month by not having that car. And that is going into things which are earning me money. And that car was costing me money. Not to mention the fact that it was probably on the brink of a big repair being needing to be done to it. So that car was just liability. I bought it because I was like, all right, cool, the BMW is sick. And then boom, was overextended, was spending way more than I thought I was. And now whenever anyone asks about, buying a car, my friend was like, oh, I think I'm going to get an Audi. And I was like, bro, just don't. Just get a Fiesta. Spend 500 quid on it. Don't give a fuck about it.
1 litre Fiesta.
Just smash it about and don't care about it. There's no point. When you've got a shitload of money, if that's your goal, and you can really, really afford that car, get it if you want it. But don't overextend yourself. Don't do it to impress another person. Don't do it because you think it's going to make you feel better. It might do for a little while, but when you see you're paying out 700-800 quid a month just to drive that car, like, it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good. But when you know that you can afford it, like say this flat, so I know that I can afford this flat and that I've got several months rent like available if no income happened. So all right, cool. Like, I can feel really comfortable here. Like I was a few years ago, the rent's due on Friday and I still don't have it on Monday, and I'm chasing up, trying to get 200 quid or trying to get 100 quid and borrowing money. It doesn't feel nice, but that's when you overextend yourself. So it's a matter of, you need to kind of audit your life a bit and see what do you actually want. Is what you're doing actually getting you there? Are you making progress? For example, in my position, I would spend my last tenner on cigarettes or my last bit of money on a bit of weed. And as soon as I stopped, I had like 700 quid saved in less than a month. And I was like, oh, So that's where it's all been going. I wondered why I had no money for 3 years.
Yeah. The I think we talked about like sort of kids growing up and stuff, and the
Mm.
influences that you've got when you're sort of getting to that age of 15, 16, and you want to be going to university, or well, you're choosing what you don't know what you want to do. It's just a pretty much impossible. I think like there's a very slim amount of people who know what they want to do. Even when they get to our age, they don't know what they want to do. Um, I think it's just so important to listen to yourself. Listen, you need to take some time away. What is it? What are those things that as a kid that you wanted? I think you can always find yourself coming back to those sort of things that you liked as a kid. What are those things deep down that you've always like? I've never wanted to work for someone, but you've just got to do it. You just have to in certain situations. Obviously, you can take that big leap, like you have. Well, you've worked for other people, but most of the time you've always worked for yourself, haven't you?
Yeah.
But yeah, that is one point I want to get across to people is like don't listen to any, and also even things with like religion and stuff like that. Don't feel like forced into anything because you're just going to live a life of misery.
The thing is it's easy for me and you to sit here and say that because we don't live with our parents. If you live with your parents, it's a whole different thing. And a lot of people are like, a lot of people have a lot of close family who are, nans, aunties, parents, whatever, that give them that type of thing. I don't really have that. My dad tries it a bit, but he's more encouraging than, like, he didn't really understand me when I was younger. He'd be like, I can't believe you don't believe in God. I can't believe that you think this, no, so on. It's like, that doesn't really help.
I think the point I want to get across is don't live your life to please other people, no matter who the fuck it is.
100%.
But that comes in to play with even with like what we were just talking about, buying certain things to please other people. You're not really pleasing yourself.
But the thing is, it's like what Gary Vee says actually, that you're buying stuff to please people that you don't even know or like.
Yeah.
You're doing shit.
Or give a fuck about you.
They don't care about you. You don't actually care about them. You don't probably even like them, and you're doing things to impress people. And the big thing about that is that when you're doing that, what type of people are you attracting into your life? People that are also like that, or people that admire that. And what are they going to do? What do they actually want to know you for? If all you're good for is, buying bottles when you go out, all your mates are going to come out with you because you're buying bottles. And then when you stop, no one's linking you anymore.
That's something that ties in with me at the moment as well, with finding a missus. Well, obviously you as well. Not finding the missus, but like I've been thinking about that for a lot recently, of what sort of girl do I want? And I know what sort of girl I want, but I'm not going to find her at a pub in these certain places.
Yeah.
These girls who go out drinking every week, I'm not about that anymore. So I wouldn't want to be with a girl like that. Putting yourself in positions where, or finding, I don't know, it's hard. It's so hard to like find someone who's not into all that stuff.
The thing is, I like it's a weird thing, but I always think of when I see, like, I saw this girl at the gym today, and she was unlocking her bike when she left, and I was just thinking, like, yeah, she's independent. She's come to the gym. She's done a bit of yoga and that, and then
now she's riding the bike.
Now she's cycling home. And I was looking at her bike. She's got a pretty nice bike as well. Like, it's not just some crusty fucking like 2005 Apollo.
Yeah.
It's like, actually, like, shit, she's got a Specialized.
Yeah. That's a bit of me.
Like, it sounds like you know, you want to, if you want to find someone who you integrate with, who you can get along with, then you need some common mindset and interests. Maybe, you know, if you both like, you probably be most likely to find a nice person like that. Fucking go and climb Snowdonia or something and go camping and like chat to like-minded people who also like travel and fucking exploring and being outdoors and that type of thing.
I think the thing is the rush. There's such a rush to do everything. It just feels like there's such a rush to find a missus, but there just isn't. Like it comes around when it's meant to, and I love the phrase or the saying, you find the people you love doing the things that you love.
Yeah.
So if you're just concentrating on yourself,
Yeah, exactly. That's 100% right.
If you're just concentrating on yourself, doing the things that you love, that someone is going to be around doing that thing. You'll be in
those situations where those type of things will happen. 100%.
And also, I have approached a couple of girls recently, and it's not been in the certain way that other men would approach women. Because if I approach a girl, like, I've been talking to my mate with Gibber about it, and he's like, "Oh, fucking hell, what the fuck? How the fuck are you gonna get a bird like that?" And I think, but I don't want a bird who's gonna be like straight on me from just saying, "Oh, do you want to meet up? Do you want to do this? Do you want to come around mine for a quick shag or whatever?" Like, that's not the type of girl I want, innit? Like, obviously that comes after, but I want to talk to girls about something that's real, spiritual.
Mate, you need to be able to have that nice conversation.
That conversation first.
Someone needs a bit of like, you know, they need to have that bit of fucking.
They need to have
a brain on
brain.
Like, bit of, do you know what I mean?
Substance.
That substance, the bit of depth.
You
know, a bit of character. You meet a lot of people and they're like, you know, a lot of people that I was friends with through drinking and partying and stuff, I'm not friends with them really anymore. I don't meet up with them for food, or they don't come around here for dinner. Like, we don't do anything together. I don't even speak to most of them people, because the only thing we had in common was that we drank together. And now that I do different things, I've got a different group of friends who, you know, me and you, we do this podcast. We're working on other projects. We're doing creative things.
We sit down and have food together.
That's what I mean. You come here, you have food. We go
out.
We go out. We cycle together. Or Josh and I, we go to the gym. We just went to the spa. You know, like, we do different things. And so we're friends on that basis. And I like having food with people anyway, because you just, you know, you're enjoying something together and you can have a conversation. Yeah. What's better?
Yeah.
What's better in life, mate? What else is there? If you're, you know, I don't know.
Well, you go out and have a coffee.
Anything. Decaf,
mate. Decaf.
I actually drank a normal coffee today.
Did you?
Yeah. I had, and then the other day I did have one.
Did you feel scatty?
Nah, I felt right.
I was talking to someone at the moment, and I was like, "Look, you need to go do like 2 weeks no caffeine, and just tell me how you feel afterwards." Because I was saying, this caffeine fucking culture.
Yeah.
Wake up and have a coffee in the morning, and you
can't leave the house until I've had my coffee.
Me having a decaf coffee and a normal coffee in the morning, and my alertness, there's no difference.
It doesn't wake you up.
It doesn't wake you up. And this person I'm talking to at the moment, "Oh, yeah, no, 100%. Well, have you ever tried decaf coffee?" No. Have you ever tried just having a glass of water and not a coffee in the morning to see how the difference is? No. Well, you can't really talk about it.
Yeah.
We're straight up here anyway.
No. So the reason I wanted to stop drinking caffeine, actually, I think switching between these topics is better anyway. It doesn't matter. This guy that I follow on Instagram, I think his name's Artemis Dolgin. He's like a bodybuilder, jumps out of planes, does some next level, like manly shit, goes on like expeditions into fucking Alaska and like builds a hut out of wood and then stays there for 6 months with no electricity and like just does like next level shit. And he's really into his training. He's in seriously good shape. And he said about giving up caffeine, and he just said he was talking about how in the first week, all of the symptoms that he had of feeling tired in the afternoon, not being able to lift as heavy, feeling hungry, feeling dehydrated, feeling, all these different combinations of symptoms. And it just made me think, fucking hell, if that's the withdrawal of caffeine, what's it actually doing to my body if I'm drinking it every day and drinking 2 or 3 coffees a day? And as soon as I tried it, I felt knackered every day for about 10 days. And then I just stopped feeling like that. Mid-afternoon, I wasn't tired. I didn't feel like, oh, it's time for another coffee. Coffee wasn't like the only thing that was keeping me going. And I never really, I like coffee. I like a good latte. But I don't care when it's decaf that it's not got caffeine in. Like, I like lattes. Like, I like nice coffee. I like lattes.
I've heard a lot of people when I say, "Oh, I only drink decaf." What's the point in that? Oh,
What do you mean? I like the coffee. I like it.
Yeah.
Like,
And there's also, I think there's a lot of placebo with it. Every morning I have a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
Cup of decaf coffee, and it's the whole routine of still there. It's still there. The routine of getting up, waking up, having that, and you get that feeling of, oh yeah, now I'm awake. Do you know what I mean? And that's all that is. That thing that you do every morning. It's not the fact that it's the caffeine. It's the fact that you're doing something that makes you think that that's the thing that you need to get awake.
I like doing it. I like the process of it. You know what I mean? You put the kettle on, you do something. Like, I like reading this little Buddhism book I've got while the kettle's on. Then boom, pour myself a coffee, sit down, have a little coffee, and then crack on with what I want to do.
Yeah.
It's just a hot drink. It's just, I don't think we need to we don't need this caffeine. Caffeine, the only time I would normally drink coffee if it was for caffeine would be just before the gym, because it does give you a boost of energy. But that's
Before
caffeine fucking too sugar.
Before 12 o'clock, I hope.
Yeah. You don't like the idea of caffeine after 12?
Well, ever since I listen, that podcast, that one with the sleep specialist.
What, with Dr. Chatterjee?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The one that your mate said changed his life.
Oh yeah.
He was just like, don't have any caffeine after 12.
Yeah.
Even 11. It's so bad for your REM sleep. Yeah, massively. And it has the knock-on effects of not having REM sleep is horrendous.
Yeah. I mean, this is the thing. And I think I'm gonna probably say this every time we record an episode. Right? I feel like it's a good thing that the message isn't changing. It's what I like about Gary Vee. People say, Gary Vee just says the same shit all the time. And he's like, yeah, and? What, you want me to just change what I'm saying so that it suits, or that it's on trend, or that it's fucking, I'm saying the same thing because these are my values.
Yeah.
These are my fundamentals. This is, my foundation. And this idea that you need to drink enough water, you need to eat proper food, you need to sleep, and you need to have good rest for your body. Watching Netflix for 6 hours and drinking a crate of Foster's isn't rest. Yeah, I hate to break it to people. That's not rest. Your body is not resting doing that. You're like you're downloading just bullshit information.
I've had a bad week. Oh yeah, just need to have I've been working all week and I need to have a rest. Yeah, what?
Have a rest is like 12 Stellas. He's like, nah, mate, that's not a rest. And then, people think, oh, there's there's nothing to do, so I'm just gonna get stoned all night. It's like, bruv, smoking weed isn't doing something. You're just doing more of nothing.
Yeah.
So there was this other idea of like about being in a flow state, and this was also on Dr. Chatterjee's podcast. I think it's called Live Better, Live More.
Yeah, no.
Live More, Live Better.
Something like that.
Something like that.
Live better, live more. Whatever.
It's one of these names. And he had this guy on talking about people getting into their optimum flow, like that there is a way to get into it. And
feel better, live more.
Feel better, live more. Okay. We'll link it, whatever the fucking name is. So, on this episode, he was talking about how doing something like going outdoors or being with a friend or having a conversation or having a meal with a friend or cooking, they're good things for rest. Watching TV or scrolling Instagram or doing these other things, that's not rest. Your brain is still, you're still putting this toxic shit into your brain, just even by looking at social media. I hate it when I'm looking at people's stories. What the fuck am I looking at here? Why am I even looking at this shit? I don't care what any of you are doing.
This ties in with my little sister actually, because obviously she's 15.
Yeah.
In school, and she's struggling with all this work that they're putting on her, and all this shit that it's just like it's like I've never understood homework. It's like I go to school, I spend how many hours in school? 7 hours or whatever it is.
And then I man tasks when I'm at home as well.
Yeah, how are you giving me shit? Like, handle all that shit when I'm at school, and then I go home and then I'd be a child. She's got all this shit to do, and
that's actually a really good point.
She's so stressed about all this shit that's just irrelevant, and I'm just saying, all you've got to do is try your best, and everything else you have to concentrate on drinking enough water and getting enough sleep, and eating good food. Everything else, and concentrating on your mental health, but that all ties in with that anyway. But your mental health is the most important thing right now. She's like staying up till 11 trying to get homework done. It's like, you're not getting, if you do that, you're not getting enough sleep in the night to then work your hardest at school the next day. You're giving these kids fucking too much work to do, so they don't get enough rest when they get home, and then they're not performing. You moan at them at school when they're not fucking performing well. And it's like, what do you fucking think? Because you're stressing them out too much. It's like, less is more. Giving these kids less they're gonna achieve so much more when you give them more free time. Kids need to go out. They need to go out.
They need to socialize.
Socialize. Do their sports in the evenings. Do these things. But that just is, for me, they want that, innit? They want kids to be stressed. They want all this fucking shit because it makes them look better. But that's not even to do with what we could go into. But yeah, it fucking makes me upset because I think I said to her, I wish I could just fucking give you 5 seconds in my brain to show you how fucking irrelevant school is.
That's a good point.
Like, it's literally
the thing I think about with school, and I did like I told you I did a self-recording. I just did like a podcast episode on my own, spoke for like an hour. And one of these points that I brought up was that I remember when I was a kid and we had a cat called Jessie, and Jessie was like this fat brown cat, and she was just chilling all the time, always chilling. She'd be like on top of something, chilling in the warmest spot. I remember going to school one day and thinking like, how come Jessie doesn't have to go to school? Like, someone else looks after her, someone else feeds her, she just lives in our house. How come she didn't need to do anything for that? She doesn't have to do anything now for that. She just chills, goes and does whatever she wants. Her brain is obviously not expecting some education program and doesn't need one. She's just chilling, just getting on with her day-to-day life, taking everything moment by moment. If she's hungry, she eats. If she's tired, she goes to sleep.
If she shit, she shit.
And that's that. If she needs a shit, it is where it's happening wherever she is. Like, and it was like that with her, actually. You know, so how's it different? Do you actually believe that our human brain is in any way set up that it expects, for example, a 15, 16-year education program? Absolutely not. There's no way that it's set up for it. Your brain is so unsuspecting of the education and type of education that we end up receiving that it's completely susceptible to the methods that are used to make you learn certain ways of doing things. Because that's all school teaches you. Certain ways of doing things and how you should react in certain situations. And anyone who doesn't react or doesn't perform the way they expect you to is ostracized. If you speak in class, get out of my classroom. Yeah. If you don't wear your uniform correctly, send you home. Yeah. You're forced into line and even like ridiculed and penalized and ostracized for not conforming. What the fuck does that teach a child? Nothing that helps them.
Literally
nothing that helps them.
All it fucking teaches you is to get into line, fucking listen to whatever the fuck anyone else above you is saying.
My friend Tammy, she's got 2 daughters. Her daughters are about 7 and 9. And it was like they had 2 weeks off of school or something like that in some holiday. And she took them on holiday and they came back 2 days after the half term had ended. So they should have been at school on the Monday, they came back on Wednesday or something. She got like a 60 quid fine per day per child. And she said, I'm not paying you that. Like, what are you talking about?
60 quid a day?
I owe you money for my child not coming to school. Like, what are you on about? What the fuck are you even talking about?
Yeah.
Whose kids are they? How are you finding me?
Yeah.
Like, who are you, bruv? Like,
Yeah.
what are you talking about? You're charging me.
Yeah.
Yeah. She was
I'll
like,
do what the fuck I want with my kids.
She said, I feel like my kids belong to the school or to the government because that's where they get everything they know, everything that they've been brought into is all owned by this other system. All I have to do is pay for their food and shelter. She said, whose kids are they? I feel like they belong to someone else and I'm just paying for them. They don't listen to a fucking word I say. They don't even want to spend time with me. They just want to go on their tablets. And, you know, not to mention that using the technology over the summer and over lockdown and stuff made them really forgetful and their memories were really shit. They even forgot how to tell the time. They forgot how many days there were in the week. They couldn't do the months. They didn't know how many days were in a year. Nothing. All these basic, like year 1, year 2 lessons, they'd forgotten because they'd used tablets and YouTube and such mind-numbing content so much. So the biggest problem is that a child is going to fucking do whatever they're taught to do. Whatever is the norm, you know, that's going to be what's normal for them. So if you change the norm, it changes. So when you put a kid in this environment, they're going to adapt to that environment. And I remember feeling so alienated at school because I was like, everything, like the content you're teaching me is like just basic. So why is it so strict? Why is it so, it has to be this fucking way or fuck off? And you know, it's not the way we learn. It's not the way people are. People aren't the same.
It's the problem with it is it only benefits people who do learn well that way. Because some people do just learn well that way. Other people just fucking don't. Everyone's different, and that they don't cater to the kids who learn better through listening or watching or uh, doing.
They're creating uniformity. They make it one way, and you have to follow that way, and it's just there's no ifs. It's just like
This is the way.
This is it. You have to do this or fuck off. And if you can't do it this way, or you don't do it this way, you need special requirements.
Yeah, and you're shit. You're in the lowest grades. You're in the lowest classes, and everyone fucking knows that you're in the lowest classes.
There's this idea that if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, the whole world is dumb. You know, of course it's dumb. This is where the ways that your brain works is going to be different with different subjects. You know, some people have. I like spreadsheets and numbers and like reading information and making like slideshows and shit. Like I can learn like that, and I can learn by just listening to it and then applying it. And once I've seen it in practice, it's done. Like I know it now. But to just be told and just write notes and then do an exam about it, I was always shit at exams. Never ever performed well in exams.
I didn't.
You know, and then I mean, there's so many things that are wrong with school. The way that they make you feel that like if you don't do well here, you're just fucked.
That's a mazza, isn't it? It's like, oh, you're never gonna achieve anything. You're gonna go on to be fucking this, and you're never gonna get anywhere in life. And it's like,
what are you talking about? I've been to school, yeah, and I can tell you that none of the content that you taught me has had any influence in my life whatsoever. Not one thing. Maybe. Not to mention the fact that most of it was bullshit anyway.
Yeah.
Once you actually find out alternative versions of things and more actual in-depth versions of things, you know, most of what you learn is just nonsense. And it's so pedantic to try and force someone to learn it and regurgitate it. Just parrot fashion. Learn it and then write it again here.
Yeah.
So what the fuck?
It's literally
it's done for all a specific reason. It's all done for a reason. I learned it from a fucking 10-year-old on YouTube that the style of education that we use in Western society is based on fucking the Prussian education system, which was designed to create soldiers and factory workers. And a 10-year-old who was homeschooled, they moved to another country. This guy was teaching like an advanced PhD level maths concept on YouTube. And then he just went on a tangent into how fucking education system is based on this old concept. You know, it creates people that, and another way I've heard it said is that all it does as well is it stops the labor market being flooded at once. You have a staggered entry into the labor market. So instead of everyone coming onto the labor market at 16 and then, oh, we've got 15% unemployment now. Those people are technically not unemployed because they're in uni or they're at college. So you get people entering the workplace at different times. And it's actually an economic thing that people aren't all coming in to try and get jobs at once. You know, that's another aspect to it, that before they had school, kids went to work when they were 6 and 7 years old. You know, sent up the chimneys and that.
I think it's a big thing to do with the system as well. It gets you in, like, just even let's even just say you smash school. You get top grades. You go to thingy, you get top grades. You go to university, you get top grades, and then you get slap bang straight in the system in a high paying job, but you're paying fucking huge taxes. They love that because when you're in a business, you can claim VAT, you can claim this, you can claim that, you can pay as little taxes as possible.
Yeah.
But when you're in these big, high-paying jobs,
on a salary, you're fucked.
you're fucked. You just got to pay 40 to 50%, and that's just like say you get paid fucking 250 grand a year. Half of that's gone. That goes straight to them. That is the middle class pay the most amount in tax. So that's another thing, which I think is a big thing to do with it. They love people going straight into the system to make as much money in
every level of society is needed for it to work as a system. It's all symbiotic. Everything is always like that, especially in an economy. The people at the bottom who are on universal credit that spend their money on things is good as well. For example, for the government to give someone 600-700 quid a month is way better than them having to pay for, people that are on universal credit, people that don't have money, people that are living that type of lifestyle. They're fucking out robbing and stealing, or they're doing drugs, or they're a bit of a bum, or they're depressed and they can't get a job and they don't want to work, and whatever reason it is. Instead of, for example, if you're out, thieving, you get arrested. How much does it cost to put a person in prison for a year, and the police and all of this and that? Instead, they just give you 700 quid a month and say, shut up, just fucking get on with your life. And then it does actually help people. It does actually help people. But those people are needed. Everyone's needed in their own different ways. So, but,
I mean, it gets rid of a problem.
It does get rid of a problem.
It does give everyone a so-called chance.
It keeps you out of prison, mate. It keeps people out of prison. But it keeps them at fucking... And mate, the way that jobs are designed and the way that the kind of entry point to the labour market is, how the fuck are you ever meant to get past that with no formal qualifications or training or... if I went and got a job doing some £1,000 a month job where I'm working 25, 30 hours a week and I'm making £1,000 a month, first of all, boom, can't afford my life because I need to spend more than that. Second, I've got no time to do anything else, so I haven't even got time to learn or anything like that. You're fucked. You're stuck in that situation. Unless you seriously utilize your free time well, what are you actually meant to do?
Yeah, you're literally fucked. And it all preys on the fact that someone else has got to help you. So someone with no parents, someone with parents who don't have any money, you're fucked. Like, you literally just fucked.
Yeah, doomed to repeat that cycle. But the thing is, you can do things to change it. The biggest problem is that people that do get that salary, most people that are kind of lower working class that make 1,500-1,600 quid a month, it sounds like I'm fucking some oil baron saying lower working class like that, but like, I'm in that boat. The people that, I'm just talking generalizations here, but the people who are in those groups, they a lot of times are fucking spending all of their money every month. They're not leaving themselves with anything, and they're outlaying on all of their costs, and they're overextending themselves on costs because they're not budgeting to include an amount that they need to save every month.
But they've never been taught that.
No, but this is the problem with the way that we're educated, is that you're never shown how to operate like 1 foot in, 1 foot out of this system, which is really the correct way to do it.
And then that in turn makes you depressed. That makes you think, why the fuck am I not got a lot of money? So then you spend more, you buy more things to make yourself feel better, to fill a void. It's like, is a self-fulfilling prophecy the right word, or?
It's like a vicious cycle.
Vicious cycle, yeah.
It's just fucking a cycle. I think there was something we spoke about that. What were we saying where we went into a bit more detail about? What were we saying before? I'm talking about before we started the conversation, what we planned on talking about.
Yeah.
Is there anything?
So, not pandering to your influences around you. So like Instagram and making stupid decisions over thinking that that's what is going to get you somewhere in life, or feeling insecure about the clothes that you wear or certain things like that.
So that was the point, actually. So the main thing is to realize that we've all had influences in our lives, and that we've got ideas that may not be our own, and most of the ideas which are in our heads are not our own. When you actually
Deep it.
yeah, when you actually think about things and you think, do I actually think that? Most of the time, you won't. You know, these ideas have been given to you, and this is really key to understand that you've been you've been given shit information. You've been given bad information. No one has actually, like we always say, no one just sat us down and said, listen, mate, it's going to be a bit like this. It's not going to be that great some of the time, and you're going to have to do things you don't enjoy, blah, blah, blah. Why did no one do that? I don't know. They set you up to fail. And this is why most people are just fucking stuck in the situation they are. Because by the time a lot of people realise it, it's kind of too late. Shit, I'm in like 150 grand debt. I hate my job, but I have to keep working here for 25 years just so I can live where I live. I'm just working to survive. You know, unless you can get ahead of yourself and you're not playing catch up. This is what my idea of 1 foot in and 1 foot out of this system is. You know, so these influences can come from anywhere. It can come from your education, it can come from your friends, your family, but it's on the point of enjoying your life and being happy with what you're doing. Someone else, your idea of happiness may not necessarily be what actually makes you feel happy. You know, a lot of people think that when they get a nice car or they get this or they get this nice girl, that they're going to be happy. But that's just your idea of it. And that's often like a misconstrued concept, and the reality doesn't quite match what you imagined it might feel like. And for me, being happy is feeling content and being like feeling gratitude for what I do have.
100%.
You know, obviously I do want things, and I'm striving towards things that I don't have yet, and I want to progress myself and all of these things. But simultaneously, I am happy with where I am because I've come a long way from where I was. And I realized that the way that I'd been told to navigate things, just for example in business or in, you know, economically speaking, in terms of how you can earn money and what's right and what's not right, I've done the fucking complete opposite. I came out of college and I just started charging people 45 quid an hour to make websites for them. Didn't know how to make websites, just watched it on YouTube.
Just blagged it.
Just made up the price, 45 quid an hour, because it sounded nice, and people paid it. Yeah? And I'll turn up 20 minutes late to a meeting, wearing fucking Crocs and tracksuit bottoms, use their electricity to charge my laptop, and they'll still pay you 400 or 500 quid to do work on their website. Yeah? I didn't need to go to college. I didn't need to do anything. I don't even necessarily need to know how to do what they're asking me, because I can just watch it on YouTube and just copy it.
Yeah.
It's like doing fucking quests on a game. You just watch a YouTube video, a walkthrough video, and then you just copy. And you just go back and forth and just copy the tasks bit by bit. You know, no one shows you that. I remember, and when I do show people, like, this is actually how you make money, mate, it's so alien to them. They want that security. They want that structure. They want to be told what to do. You know, when you're at school, you've been told what to do from the fucking moment you woke up till the moment you went to bed. until you're like 18, you literally are told what to do, where to be, how to be there. You know, if you're here, you need to be dressed like this. If you're here, you need to be dressed like this. This is inappropriate. That's appropriate. And it's constant. It's a fucking constant thing of this is right, this is wrong, and it's just a massive condition in exercise. And then, you know, people leave. I hated that the whole way through. So when I was free of that, I was like, thank God for this.
Yeah, I resented that so much. It was the whole thing around that you have to get up and do that. Like, you have no fucking choice. Like, at least if I wake up tomorrow and I say I don't want to fucking go to work, I don't have to go to work. Obviously I do, but the choice is there not to do that. Like, you have to get up and go to school every day, Monday to Friday, and you've got to do that for like a period of time.
Mate, if I had kids and one of them was like, oh, I don't fancy going to school today, I wouldn't be like, right. I'd just be like, okay. That's what my dad was like.
Yeah.
I remember one time we woke up like 10 minutes late to go to school. And my dad was like, do you want to go to London? I was like, go on then. He's like, all right, let's go back to bed for an hour. And then he was like, I'll ring up the school and tell them you're both ill. He was like, we'll go to London. We went out for the day. And then he was like, should we go Paris? And he's like, yeah, all right. Then we went to fucking Disneyland for 3 days. And then we came back to school. And they just thought we were ill. You know, why is the only reason to be off school because you're ill and like you have to prove it, blah blah blah. If I had a child and they were not wanting to go to school, not that I would fucking want to send them to a normal school anyway. That they're missing something, or you're gonna miss out on something so important today, and you know, you could miss the one lesson that is gonna fucking be the make or break of you. You know, it's stupid. Like, if you don't feel like going to school, it's like, all right, why not?
I think the time that's wasted in school is...
You got to remember that there's a bigger system at play here where, for example, a lot of parents in their day and age, when they were fucking coming up, going to uni was the best option. It's not the best option now.
And for a lot of people, it was free.
Yeah, well, it's that's the thing. It's a very different system today than it was back then. So it's not as good a deal as it was back then. It's not as prestigious or as desirable as it was back then.
And information wasn't as freely available as it is
Exactly.
today.
That's exactly it. And for a lot of people, they're going to uni because they think they should, and they're doing something that they don't care about because they think they can get a job in it.
Or it's just fucking never gonna... Like, you don't actually even need uni to do that job.
This is the thing. The way that we're shown how to do things, you don't have to play by them rules. Those rules, the rules that are set up for us, are designed to fucking limit you, and they're designed to keep everyone in their place, right? And if you play by them, you will be stuck in your place and you will not progress. You need to be 1 foot in, 1 foot out. And the easiest way of doing that is to, like, stack your dough. And then you don't have to listen to their shit.
What would be the best thing, say someone's in school right now, and they're worried about all this and, oh, I've got to go to uni, I'll
tell you what, all of your teachers probably are fucking liars. Yeah, they all know that they're teaching you bullshit. They all know that the system that they're forcing you to go through is bullshit. And they're doing it because they don't know how to do their life without it, and that job pays them money.
And they got taught that way as well.
They were taught that was the way that they had to do things. Yeah. And some of them are even so naive that they're actually helping, that they think that they can fucking... And I do know that there are people like that who are genuine.
Yeah, some teachers go fucking above and beyond.
they're really empathetic and they understand children, and they're caring, and they have a lot of time for children. Like that, there's two teachers that stand out to me from my time at school,
I think
and they were like the fucking savior of my time at school, because say I'd misbehave. I remember, I won't go into that, but basically I'd done something and no one knew it was me, and the head teacher clocked me, and he was like, he basically said like, I know it was you, but I'm not going to tell anyone, so let's just fucking, just don't do shit like that again.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, thank God for that.
yeah.
Because that was like, you're getting kicked out of school if these men knew that was you,
Mm.
you know. And that was good. And having someone like that who's kind of got your back at school is good. The thing I would say to children is, listen, mate, you got to play the game. You got to play the game. There's a game, and they want you to act a certain way, and they want you to be a certain way. And if you can act that certain way to an extent, to just get what you need out of it, and then do your own thing for the other part of it, you've basically figured out life. Because as long as you look like you do this and you do that on paper and whatever, and you play by the rules to an extent, but then you've got this other aspect where you get shit done, and you've worked out your way of getting shit done, but like you're playing to the rules to such an extent that you are allowed to operate in that way, you're done, you've completed it. You'll always be fine, because you can take what you need to from the system, but then you can also live your life.
100%. I mean, I rarely did any homework the whole way through school. I just didn't see the fucking point in it. A lot of the schoolwork, I didn't fucking bother with it. That's why I got such. But to be fair, my grades weren't horrendous, but I got my fucking 5 A to C's. But my aspirations go way beyond what you would expect for someone who's come out of school with what I
The way
have.
you did, yeah.
You can come out of school with fucking nothing and just absolutely kill it. And there's just countless people who have done that. Don't think that this is it.
It's not it.
It's not it. Just the only thing that I could say is teach it as a lesson to train your brain to, you can do anything that you put your mind to, and trying your best is the most important thing.
I would say with school though, that like that unless you actually want to do something which is requires a degree.
Yeah, like a doctor or what.
I mean, by the time the fucking kids today are old enough to be doctors, the doctors are probably going to be fucking robots.
Yeah.
So the things which happened in the past and the way the things were done in the past is going to change by the time kids are adults.
Yeah,
The
that's
kids
a
of today.
mad thing to think of. A lot of these kids today are working towards jobs that are going to be taken away from them.
So they won't exist. The jobs won't exist. They'll be done by robots.
That's mad, isn't it?
How many jobs are going to be done? Lawyers. The fuck do you need a lawyer for? Get a computer to do it. So many things that people want to do, and this is the problem. Is what are they going to do? They're all going to have dead service industry, retail type jobs where they're going to be working minimum wage, and they're going to be stuck in that system, and they're going to be just serving the next class of people, which is what most people are like. They just serve the next class of people. That whole industry just services the next class of people, and it's fucked. But I would say that like people who do that for a job and know that system's broken are just the root of they're part of that fucking problem. But the thing is as well, they probably don't even realize, because they've been taught that was the way to do it, and oh yeah, I'm going to become a teacher and I'm going to teach fucking geography. Like, you know, there's like the idea of a business teacher. Like, why are you teaching business? If you actually understood this, wouldn't you just be running a business?
Yeah.
You know, Why are you not running a business? Like, do you actually know what you're talking about? Or are you just fucking... At the end of the day, they're just fucking reiterating or regurgitating a syllabus and just presenting it to you for you to fucking learn it and reiterate it. Why? Why? It's actually like... I did learn things at college. I thought college was interesting because you could pick what you wanted to learn. That was interesting. But, like, why did I need to do exams? Like, I still know everything that I learned there, but I just don't have a bit of paperwork that says that I excelled in an examination of what I learned. I still know it all.
Yeah.
The thing is that the way that your knowledge is tested in real life isn't the same as the way it's tested at school.
It's also that the things that you learn, it's just they barely even help you in what you do. It's barely even, say you go in to do a job that you've learned about, you barely scratch the surface of what you're gonna do in the job. You're
gonna learn a lot more when
you
you're actually
learn
working.
so much more when you're fucking there, and it's kind of mad because you should be doing basically the job before you get in the job, and then you'll know about the job instead of learning about the job, not doing any practical.
Well, yeah, you don't get better at press ups by reading about it. You get better by doing it. But yeah, I think we could talk about fucking school and stuff all day. I think it is a very important topic though, and it needs to be addressed more because it is pretty, like, quite frankly, disgusting that system is even allowed to exist. Because it's so broken. Not one fucking mention of a credit card. Not mentioned once in education. What the fuck were you educating me about? I don't remember.
Nothing
really
about the fucking real world.
There was no substance to the content that you made me learn, other than the idea that it had to be regurgitated.
That's such a big thing.
Pointless. It's a fucking waste of time.
The shock of we sort of talk about, why does no one tell us that? The shock of getting into the world and realizing that you've been taught fuck all
about how it works, how to navigate it.
It's like you have this huge, like, you have this idea of what the world is, and then when you get there, it's so fucking couldn't be any more different than what you fucking thought it was.
No, it's completely different.
So that is one thing that I would tell kids is, like, when you get out there, you're gonna find out what it is, but don't take all this shit right now too seriously.
Bruv, just enjoy yourself.
That's what I'm saying.
Seriously, just enjoy yourself. And to everyone as well, just enjoy yourself.
Yeah. Even now, even people our age, just even if you go,
mate, you got so much time. You don't need to take yourself so seriously. It's I don't know how to word it. The way I look at running a business and money and stuff like that is it's a game. There's a way to play it. There's a way that works and there's a way that doesn't work. And being really punctual and on time and kind of being on the ball works to play this game.
And enjoy the journey.
But the thing is, when you're that young,
you can't see.
You have no responsibility. They tried to give you a responsibility of going to school, but fundamentally, you would probably be better off completely ignoring every single thing they tell you at school, just being really good friends with everyone, never having, like, arguments, and just being cool and being friends with everyone, being sporty, and then just learn fucking coding, learn development. You'll be the most advanced person in the school because everyone's kept at this dead level. Why? Because it suits them. How difficult would it be to fucking manage? Some schools have got thousands of kids in them. If they were all asking questions and they were all thinking like that, you'd have a fucking nightmare. More so than you already do. You know, because those schools are nightmares. If you've got everyone thinking on that level, you won't be able to manage them. They do that so that it's manageable. They make you manageable. Simple. and even parents reward their children. Oh, you got up on your own and got dressed and you were ready for school on time. I didn't even have to do anything. It's like, mate, do you know when your kid, like, I know it's a clash when the kids are like a nightmare to get ready for school. Like my friend's daughters, they're a nightmare when they go to school. They take 45 minutes to get dressed, and then they can't find this, they can't find that, and then they're screaming when they're getting in the car, and it's a fucking nightmare. But it's like, I'd much rather them have a bit of character like that than, they just stood at the car. They stood at the door, like, waiting to get in the car in silence, and, like, they don't say a fucking word. It's like, who do you want this person to be? Why are you training them to be this little fucking robot that just does what they're told when
NPC.
Like, what? You're making him to, like, an NPC.
We can fucking go on about this for ages.
I think that's so broken. But yeah, what are we doing? Are we wrapping this up?
Yeah, I think it's time.
It's time, is it? Okay.
Mate, I think that went well.
But these style of conversations are better. There's no bit of paper in front of me. Probably missed 100 topics that were completely obvious to go into, but this is just a conversation that we've had. We haven't planned this.
Let us know what you think.
I think
a bit of feedback would be nice, and then maybe a little bit of whatever. If you think you guys could do with a bit of that, then let us know, innit?
Yeah. All right, cool. So we're gonna try and do this more often, more frequent. This is gonna come out this week. What day is it? Wednesday. Yeah, so I'm just gonna probably post this now, and then boom, we'll just try and get more of these out, and then that's it.
Yeah, we're just gonna play with it. But
until next time, then.
Thank you guys for listening. Take care.
Nice one. Thank you.